Santos tweeting that he will not seek a second term after the House Ethics Committee released that scathing report saying they have overwhelming evidence that Santos broke the law.
Fox 8's Jodi Goldberg joins us live outside Nassau County Republican headquarters. Jodi, walk us through some of the big takeaways here.
Steve and Natasha, there are crimes in this report that Santos hasn't even been charged with yet. And now we know he's been using campaign cash for things like vacations, lavish meals, and even subscriptions to adult entertainment sites. In a substantial and staggering more than 50-page report, we now know embattled Congressman George Santos spent thousands on purchases at high-end stores, trips to Atlantic City, and on Botox, all on the donor's dime.
I'm furious that it's taken this long.
Many constituents hope it's the beginning of the end. This is the scathing report reveals Santos engaged in, quote, uncharged, unlawful, and unethical conduct. The chair of the House Ethics Committee now plans to file a resolution to expel scandal-stricken Santos as early as Friday morning.
This is not just for the institution, it's not just for Long Island, but most importantly, I think it's for the people who live and are supposed to be represented by George in the 3rd Congressional District.
According to the report, Santos blamed others for errors and was given an opportunity to submit statements responding to allegations, but didn't do so. Red flags include questionable bank account transactions and withdrawals. Santos also allegedly used campaign cash for meals, parking, and a porn site. Findings have already been passed on to the Justice Department for investigation.
This is no longer a matter of staying in office. This is a matter of reducing the amount of time he spends in prison.
Santos already pleaded not guilty last month to 23 federal charges, including allegations of fraud relating to campaign finances and duping donors. His attorney calls the release of this report an unfair process, adding it'll be difficult to get an impartial jury for a trial. Santos announced on X he will not seek re-election. He denounced the investigation and called it a disgusting, politicized smear.
George Santos does not belong in Congress, and he should be removed, whether he resigns or is expelled.
A few things I want to point out. Santos' ex-treasurer and a former aide both pleaded guilty to cases unrelated to his regarding campaigns. And something else I want to let you know, a vote could happen as soon as after Thanksgiving. Now, if Santos resigns or he is expelled, there will be a special election. Santos is due back in court next month. That's the latest here outside of GOP headquarters in Nassau County. Jodi Goldberg. Steve, let's send it back to you.
All right.